Hi everyone, we're here today with Chris Frerecks from Kinetic Knowledge. He's going to tell us a little bit about leveraging the networked web for your business. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, thanks. Glad to be here.
So, Chris, everyone out there these days is thinking about online marketing and asking themselves a few things. Do I need a blog? Do I need a website? Should I be using both? Should I use a blog that functions as a website? Tell us a little about how blog sites differ from websites.
Well, first of all, blog sites are websites. However, they have a very powerful advertising capability. Ultimately, businesses need to work smart, getting the most they can for their effort and their money. They really should be thinking about having a central web presence where their brand is best presented, where all their content is organized for a visitor, where their content can also be pushed outward and everywhere possible on the web, and then where leads can be captured and managed. What I'm saying here is because the web is a network of sites, it's possible to have your content go to many places each and every time you post new content. So think of a blog site as a tool that enables you to network your branded content out to as many places as possible. The idea being that it's driving people back to where you center your brand or brand engagement and where you capture leads.
Good, great information. Let's walk through a few examples of the value proposition offered by business blogging and this networked web phenomena that you refer to here. What's this first example from the Prescott Real Estate blog? Tell us a little about search engine indexing, if you would.
Well, without belittling search engine optimization, one of the most important, maybe the most important competitive signal is just consistent writing. And when you're writing, you are, in theory, driving competitive search engine indexing, and potentially for an unlimited number of keywords and phrases. Okay, so in this case, we have a client who is in the real estate business in Prescott, Arizona, and so this is just an obvious phrase that they want to be relevant for, competitively relevant for. Clearly they are, because as you can see, there are 117,000 indexed pages for that phrase, Prescott, Arizona real estate blog, and this client is number one.
Perfect. Well, pretty exciting to see hard work in action here. How about social media revolution? How will a blog site get you exposure in places like Facebook and Twitter? Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, blog sites and the content that you can produce with them essentially are syndicate ready. In other words, your content can be pushed to an unlimited number of places when you post, automatically without duplicating any effort. So ideally, if you have a branded blog platform and you're writing about your everyday practical knowledge in your marketplace for the benefit of your prospective clients and existing clients, that content can also go to environments like Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or any other social network that you would want to set your content to be fed to. In this case, you're looking at the Kristen Cole team in Alaska, and they leverage their RSS feed into their Facebook fan page. She's a great example because recently she told us that she got a new client as a result of her content automatically pushing into this fan page from her blog.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. How about direct subscriptions by email? Permission-based marketing is possible with blogging as well, right?
Yeah, really important. If you want to have long-term connections to people so that you're touching them over and over and over again, and hopefully when they're ready to buy, or maybe depending on your business, ready to sell, it's best to try and entice them to subscribe to your content. If you're producing good content, they're obviously going to be motivated to do that. Our clients are obviously able to offer subscription via RSS or email. RSS meaning they could subscribe to you via their My Yahoo account, just like they could the New York Times. And then email obviously being more, I guess, likely to drive subscriptions than RSS in this day and age. At least that's been our experience with clients. But all clients have that offering.
So what about other blogs picking up your content and republishing it on their own sites? This seems to happen pretty often. Tell us a little bit about backlinks. Is this something that we want to happen?
Yeah, in theory, if your content is good enough, somebody might be motivated to link to you from their own site. Again, what you're doing is you're getting content out to other places where in theory there's an audience. And if that audience is exposed to you, then they might become a subscriber, a lead, or maybe even new business. Again, the web is a network, And so you really have to be thinking about how can I push my content to, as broad a scope of places as possible. Backlinks is just one way. Also with the RSS feed, sites who might like your content can actually pick that feed up and put it on their own site. And so that would be a feed connection to other sites, and also just another way to network your content outward.
And perhaps we could even get bookmarked in a browser as a helpful resource, which is pretty much just as easy as clicking a link in your browser here like this. So how do all these things tie together?
They all tie together because they're just essentially more and more web visibility. They're more and more shelf life for your content, which is your brand. There are more and more opportunities to drive people back to your site. We're talking about modern day marketing and advertising. We're talking about not just search engine visibility, but broad web visibility. And so whether you are bookmarked or linked to, or somebody has picked up your feed, or you've set your feed up to go to a social network, what you're really trying to do is just proliferate your brand everywhere possible, drive traffic back to where you present and sell the best, and drive leads, hopefully new business.
So on to the question everyone's been wondering about. Can I use a blog site as my only web presence for my business? How does that work?
You certainly can. However, there are great websites out there, and lots of people are very committed to their websites. So we can certainly design blog sites, and we do it every day, to support a website. Like, for instance, from an SEO standpoint or driving traffic standpoint, a blog is certainly a very simple, cost-effective way to do it. In the long run, we think it's the best way to do it. But in the event a person wanted to have one all-encompassing web platform, we certainly design those as well. This happens to be an example of a realtor who essentially has a featured listings database capability that offers Google Maps, it offers image files, it offers video capability, they've got mortgage calculators, they've got complete integration of their MLS search, and there's lots and lots of other options. So essentially that's an all-encompassing real estate site platform. We've recently also rolled one out for executive recruiters who have a need for jobs database capability, and so they need to be able to enter jobs as they get them. They also need to be able to make those jobs searchable. They want to be able to present them maybe based on categories, like you see here in the sidebar. They also want those jobs to be syndicatable. So in addition to their blog content, and that's very much a feature, a powerful blog capability of this platform, their jobs can also be syndicated out. So in an executive recruiter's case, certainly they want that content to be going to places like Facebook and LinkedIn. But also there are job boards that pick up job feeds. We could actually have just the jobs feeding to something like an Indeed.com, and then all of their blog content feeding out to Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, or all of the jobs and blog content going to any of those.
Wow, so blog sites really are a powerful online marketing tool. How can Kinetic help, and where do we get a hold of you?
You can always find us at kineticknowledge.com. That's Kinetic knowledge.com, and you'll find all of our contact information there, and pretty much information about what we do, our products, client successes, etc. But ultimately, our goal is to provide clients with the best sites, online marketing education, technology management and advancement, and customer service possible. And the idea is to do this for a very fair and cost-effective price. Our clients really should be maximizing an online presence, and they should be doing it with as little disruption to their physical world dealings as is possible. And that's ultimately our goal for clients.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for all the valuable information. We will certainly look forward to our next chat about business blogging and social networking.
Thanks for having me.